Hello guys, this is Real Recaps. In this video, I will talk about a 2019 American thriller drama film, Sleeping with My Student. Before we start, I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel. The film begins in the year 2002 with a tense scene inside a moving car, where a couple is engaged in a heated argument. In the backseat, their infant cries, but the parents are too caught up in their fight to notice. The woman, June, is furiously yelling at her husband, Felix Johnson, after discovering that he has been unfaithful to her with someone she knows. Felix, visibly agitated, denies the allegations, but June becomes increasingly enraged. It is mentioned that she has a history of mental health issues, and in a fit of rage, she suddenly grabs the steering wheel. This reckless action causes the vehicle to crash. Felix sustains a severe head injury, leading to his immediate death. The narrative then jumps forward 17 years, introducing three close friends, Kathy, Megan, and Stacy, who are enjoying a weekend getaway at a luxurious hotel. Kathy has recently been promoted to the position of principal at her school, and her friends have planned this trip to celebrate her achievement. Dressed elegantly, the women relax in a lavish hotel suite, sipping wine and sharing laughter. As they chat, it is revealed that Kathy is a single mother following her divorce, and she currently lives with her teenage daughter, Bree. During their celebration, the room's air conditioner begins to malfunction, prompting them to call the hotel staff for assistance. A young, attractive employee named Ian arrives to fix the issue. He quickly repairs the unit, and the women can't help but notice his charm and good looks. Despite realizing that he is only 18 years old, they flirt with him, disregarding the significant age difference. Later, Kathy changes into a strikingly revealing dress and heads to the hotel pool to unwind. As she prepares to swim, Ian spots her and is immediately drawn to her. Although she is a mother, Kathy still possesses confidence and an undeniable allure, which captivates Ian. He approaches her, and they strike up a conversation. Ian attempts to impress her, but she does not seem particularly interested at first. He then jumps into the pool and playfully invites Kathy to join him. When she declines, he pretends to be drowning by submerging himself underwater. Kathy, who was a lifeguard during her college years, instinctively dives in to save him. However, Ian soon reveals that he wasn't actually in danger. He just enjoys being underwater as a way to clear his mind. He compliments Kathy on her attractiveness, and the two head back to her hotel room together. Ian grows more persistent in his advances, though Kathy hesitates at first, explaining that she does not usually involve herself with younger men. However, Ian's charm and persuasion eventually wear down her resistance, and they end up spending a passionate night together. The next morning, Kathy wakes up to find that Ian has already left, but he has left behind a flower as a parting gift. She reunites with her friends as they check out of the hotel, believing the encounter was a fleeting moment that she can move past. However, unknown to Kathy, Ian does not actually work at the hotel. He was merely filling in for a friend's internship. As he reminisces about the night they spent together, Ian holds a picture of Bree, hinting that she is someone very important to him. The film then provides insight into Ian's home life. He lives with his mother and stepfather, but their household is far from harmonious. Ian and his stepfather have a strained relationship, as his stepfather is involved in drug dealing. Despite this tension, Ian is deeply devoted to his mother, who is frequently ill. He does his best to care for her, displaying a more compassionate side. Meanwhile, Kathy prepares for her first day as principal at her school, with Bree accompanying her. It is revealed that Bree is an introverted girl who struggles with social interactions. She has been bullied in the past at her previous schools, leaving her with low self-esteem and difficulty in forming new friendships. As Kathy arrives at school, she is taken aback when she spots Ian among the students. She is momentarily stunned, unsure if it is really him or just someone who looks like him. Before she can approach him, Ian disappears into the crowd, leaving Kathy questioning whether her mind is playing tricks on her. While Kathy heads to her office, Bree attends her first class. The teacher has already begun the lesson when Ian enters, revealing that it is also his first day at the school. He takes a seat next to Bree, and they introduce themselves. Later, Bree visits the school's art gallery to admire paintings when she is approached by three students, Leslie, Gina, and Steve. Steve, who is Leslie's boyfriend, along with the others, tries to befriend Bree, recognizing her as the principal's daughter. They express their interest in becoming cheerleaders and invite Bree to join their social circle. Bree, feeling uncertain, responds hesitantly, saying she needs to check with her mother before making a decision. Noticing her nervousness, Steve mockingly laughs at her speech impediment. Ian steps in immediately, confronting Steve for making fun of Bree. Shortly after, Kathy arrives and joins the conversation. The students invite Bree to a pizza party, and Kathy allows her to go. During the outing, Gina mentions to Leslie that she once dated Ian but broke up with him some time ago. Later, Ian approaches Bree outside and speaks kindly to her. Bree, who is not used to boys being nice to her, is surprised by his behavior and questions why he is treating her differently from others. The next day, Bree and Ian walk into class together. Kathy is already in the room, speaking with Gina. The moment Kathy sees Ian, she panics, realizing that the boy she had a one-night stand with is now a student at her school. Disturbed, she rushes to her office and instructs her assistant to find out more about Ian. She soon learns that Ian has a troubled history, with a disciplinary record full of violent incidents and anger issues. Concerned about his presence, Kathy is unsure of how to handle the situation. She confides in her friend Megan and asks for advice. Later, when she leaves her office, she notices Ian sitting with Bree and quickly intervenes, pulling her daughter away. Once they are alone in the car, Kathy sternly tells Bree that she must stay away from Ian, warning that he is a bad influence. She reveals what she has learned about his violent past, hoping to convince Bree that he could be dangerous. However, for the first time, Bree defies her mother. She refuses to listen, arguing that Ian is the only person who has ever treated her with kindness and respect. She does not want to lose the first real connection she has ever made. That evening, upon returning home, Kathy decides to send Bree out with her ex-husband, Ben, hoping to have some quiet time to think of a solution to her ongoing problem with Ian. Ben takes Bree to a restaurant for dinner, unaware that Ian has been secretly following them. When Bree sees Ian, she excuses herself to the restroom to meet him. Bree tells Ian about how her mother doesn't want them to meet before they are interrupted by Ben. Ben immediately asks who he is and Ian politely introduces himself to Ben before leaving. Later, once Ben and Bree return home, Ben tells Kathy about the unusual encounter with Ian. Concerned by the situation, Kathy grows even more uneasy and confesses to Ben that she believes Ian is a dangerous influence. She also admits that she has no idea why Ian is fixated on their daughter. That night, Kathy formulates a plan to get Ian out of Bree's life. She heads to the school, retrieves a large dagger, and discreetly places it inside Ian's locker. The following morning, she arranges for a school-wide announcement, alerting students that locker inspections will be conducted. When Ian's locker is eventually opened, the dagger is discovered, giving Kathy the perfect excuse to summon him to her office. When Ian arrives, Kathy confronts him directly, demanding an explanation for his behavior. It is then that Ian confesses to having been closely monitoring Kathy's activities through her social media. Since Kathy constantly shared personal details about her life online, Ian was able to track her movements effortlessly. He goes on to reveal that he was at the hotel that night as part of a carefully orchestrated plan. Even worse, Ian reveals that he recorded his encounter with Kathy at the hotel. Horrified, Kathy watches as Ian shows her the footage. He then makes a demand, $50,000 in exchange for keeping the video private. If she refuses, he warns that he will release the footage, exposing her affair with a teenager. He further promises that if she complies and pays the money, he will stay away from Bree. Despite the immense pressure, Kathy refuses to give in. She warns Ian that if he releases the video, he, too, could face legal consequences. However, Ian is undeterred and insists that she must gather the money as soon as possible. He threatens to destroy both her and Bree's lives if she does not cooperate. Even so, Kathy stands her ground, telling Ian that she does not trust him. She knows that even if she pays, he will likely continue blackmailing her. Instead of complying, she calls for the school guards and orders them to escort Ian off the premises. Later that day, Gina secretly follows Ian to his house. Inside, Ian gets into a heated argument with his stepfather, and in a sudden fit of rage, he stabs him, though not fatally. Just then, Gina arrives at the house. Furious at the interruption, Ian aggressively demands to know why she is there. Nervous and visibly shaken, Gina confesses that she has feelings for him and wants to be in a relationship. but Ian, completely consumed by his rage, ignores her confession. As Gina glances around the house, she suddenly spots an unconscious figure on the kitchen floor. Panicked, she dashes outside. Ian chases after her, grabbing a baseball bat and smashing her car window. He then threatens her, warning that if she tells anyone what she saw, he will do the same to her face. Terrified, Gina jumps into her car and speeds away. Ian then returns inside, where he finds his stepfather still alive, crawling weakly on the floor. Without hesitation, Ian finishes him off, brutally beating him to death with the baseball bat. Afterward, he approaches his mother and instructs her to stay in her room for a few days, assuring her that he will return for her soon. Meanwhile, Ian sneaks into the school, determined to speak with Bree. Though hesitant at first, Bree is eventually convinced to go with him. However, Kathy soon realizes that Bree is missing. She rushes to Bree's classroom, where Gina informs her that Bree left with Ian. Alarmed, Kathy immediately calls Bree's phone, but to her horror, Ian answers instead. He coldly threatens Kathy, demanding that she pay the ransom or suffer the consequences. He warns her that if she contacts the police, Bree will be severely harmed. Panicked, Kathy calls Megan for help. After explaining the situation, they quickly arrange to gather the money. Meanwhile, Ian is driving away with Bree in his car. Frightened and confused, Bree asks where they are going and why he is acting so strangely. Ian cryptically responds by calling her mother a liar. Bree grows increasingly terrified when Ian suddenly pulls out a gun. He then makes a shocking revelation: she is his little sister, and he must protect her. It is at this moment that we learn the truth. The little boy crying in the car at the beginning of the movie was actually Ian. His father had an affair with Kathy, which resulted in Bree's birth. Ian blames Kathy for his father's death, believing that her affair led his mother down a path of destruction. He resents Kathy, convinced that she ruined both his and his mother's lives. Ian then confesses his entire scheme to Bree, even admitting that he slept with Kathy. Unwilling to believe him, Bree desperately tries to grab his gun but fails. In self-defense, she kicks Ian in the face and runs off. Shortly after, Ian catches up with her at a drop-off point. At this moment, Kathy and Megan arrive. Megan remains in the car, prepared to call the police in 10 minutes if Kathy does not return. Kathy enters the building and tries to reason with Ian, urging him to let Bree go. She finally admits everything: her affair with Ian's father, her relationship with Ian, and the lies she told Bree about her father. She sincerely apologizes, but Bree is utterly devastated and feels completely betrayed by her mother. Just as Ian is about to shoot Kathy, Bree intervenes. Ian then redirects the gun toward Bree instead. In a desperate attempt to save her daughter, Kathy lunges at Ian, causing both of them to crash through a second-story window. Kathy miraculously survives the fall, but Ian does not. The movie concludes with Kathy, Bree, and Ben living together, finally in a more stable and peaceful place. Meanwhile, Ian's mother is left completely alone, still waiting for her son to return. The end. Thanks for watching.